Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We are also streaming to you live on yorbamedia.com and broadcasting to you from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel studios. All right, my first guest on today's show is Corrado De Gasperis. He is the CEO of Comstock Mining. This gentleman brings 26 years of mining experience to the business with him. He's a founding member and chairman of the board of the Comstock Foundation for History and Culture and a director of Gold Hill Hotel. I've personally been there. This is a great place. This guy has got a wonderful stock. LODE is the symbol, so go ahead and look it up. All right, Corrado, welcome to the show. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Michael. How are you?
All right, I'm good. Good. Thanks for asking. All right. That was a real brief intro on you. Let me back up a little bit, and you give us a flavor for who you are, and then tell us all about Comstock Mining.
Sure. We've, the company is about 11 years old. I've spent, as you said, most of my career in industrial metals and mining, usually in a growth or transformative mode. The Comstock itself is an incredible, high-grade, world-class historic district. For the first time in over 150 years, we've consolidated under one company, under one roof, if you will, the vast majority, almost the entirety of the district. The district had a 2-mile strike in the late 1800s where 33 bonanzas and over 8 million ounces of gold and almost 200 million ounces of silver were mined with picks and shovels, literally. After consolidating the district, our geologists and our engineers ended up extending the definition to almost 6 miles, resulting in over 7,000 acres and 10 square miles of property position. So we're very excited to have pulled all that together. We just started drilling in any meaningful way in 2010, and since then we validated over 2.5 million ounces of gold and over 26 million ounces of silver. Nevada is called the Silver State solely because of the fame and production of the Comstock LODE, and we recently discovered a shoot zone structure that may very well be the 34th bonanza on the Comstock, and it's really been an incredible development in the last 2 years, validating so much gold and silver on what really is just still a tiny fraction of the property position.
Now, I understand that you've got an exceptionally low cost to produce this. I took a little peek at what you're talking about on your company, and to bring that out to us, because that's a big profit margin for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We finished our first full year of production in 2013, so it's an exciting time. But at the end of last year, we got some approvals in Nevada to literally increase our production by 4 times. We're doubling it as we speak, and that results in a cost to produce of about $700 an ounce, and it's still operating below our capacity. As we continue to step up, we would expect to be well below those numbers, and probably just as remarkably, the industry itself is finding it more and more difficult to find gold and silver. I understand some estimates run up to $100 an ounce just to find and validate it in the ground. We've averaged about $6 to $8 an ounce in terms of our discoveries over the last 2.5 years. And obviously we don't have a magic rod, but what we do have is 150 years worth of historical data that we've digitized, we've incorporated structurally into one model. And using modern techniques, the efficiency of us finding gold and silver has really been incredible.
Well, it doesn't just stop there, because you're also socially responsible with what you're doing in the surrounding areas. Tell us about that.
We're led by a lead investor and a chairman who is an environmentalist and has really started the land consolidation more from a perspective of the property and the territory rather than necessarily the mining. So we would say it's inherent in our DNA, but for certain, the covenant that we have with the territory is to ensure that it is as good or better when we're done. And we've gone beyond mining. As you mentioned, we own and operate the Gold Hill Hotel, which is the longest continuously running hotel in Nevada, the oldest in that regard, if you will. We have properties all through the district, and we established the foundation for historical preservation and culture, where the former state historical preservation officer for over 30 years and one of the most knowledgeable historians on the Comstock, well published in that regard, agreed to be the executive director. We're just finishing our first major restoration of the Yellow Jacket joist and chute works, which was literally, tragically, I would say, on the verge of collapse. And we fully restored that now. So some very, not just responsible activities in terms of mining, reclamation, and restoration, but historical preservation and enhancement on what is, I think, the most, or one of the most famous mining districts in the country.
Yeah, for many of people who don't know, this is how the North won the Civil War, was with the wealth that came out of this district here.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, this year Nevada is celebrating its 150th anniversary, and the state, besides being nicknamed the Silver State because of the Comstock LODE's silver wealth, it's also nicknamed Battleborn because of its absolutely critical role in supporting Abraham Lincoln in the North from a treasury perspective during the war. And in fact, Lincoln accelerated Nevada's entry into the Union because of that.
Yes, he did. Now, let's get back into something else that you do that's also good for the country. You are a big employer there. So talk to me about where you started with this employment and what kind of growth you see as you branch out and you start bringing this new bonanza on.
4 years ago, just a little over 4 years ago, there were basically 3 full-time employees, a geologist, a landman, and an engineer, and they had a tiger by the tail, is the way they described it. Today, operating just at about 20,000-ounce run rate in 2013, we have over 110 full-time employees, plus another 20 employees at the hotel. These are senior geologists, senior mine engineers, metallurgists, geophysicists, process engineers. I mean, it's really a remarkable high value of employment. Frankly, in 2 counties and in a state that desperately needs to improve, the jobs, and to have good jobs, to have sustainable jobs, is really the key here. It's the number one priority. To have this successful operation. At any given time, and in November and December, as an example, when we were expanding our capacity, we had 100 contractors involved in the expansion at any given point in time, effectively doubling, the human capital that's working.
I just want to offer my congratulations on a job well done, and I know that you're going to do great in the future. Now, we're about out of time, but before we go, you have things that the people can participate with you. How do they get more information on your stock? How do they get more information about some of the mining processes and where you're going in the future?
Yeah, thank you for that. So as you mentioned, New York Stock Exchange listed, symbol is LODE, and our website is really fantastic. I think that www.comstockmining.com is the place to look. You'll see our technical reports. You'll see videos and pictures of our entire operation, including the obvious press releases and 10K and 10Q filings that are so important to our transparency. So www.comstockmining.com.
Great. Corrado, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Michael. Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Corrado De Gasperis, CEO, Comstock Mining, LODE is the symbol. Look it up. These guys are going places. All right, now I also want to put out special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support. Stick around. Steve Conboy, CEO, Echo Building Products, coming up next. You're going to love what these guys do. We'll be right back.